Recording. Testing. I feel like it's on an angle, but that doesn't matter.
I'm so tired from Bali.
Oh, you would be. Flights and everything. Okay. So we'll whip through the lesson first, I think, and then we'll digress into other things.
Cool.
So we are doing lesson 7, Are You Calorie Aware? This is one of my favourite lessons, like, of the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Yeah, so it's very exciting. Might get a little bit excited. Anyway, so are you calorie aware? So we're going to get into the nitty gritty of this stuff today. So how to be calorie aware, and it's a big difference to actually counting calories. So I'll start by saying there is nothing wrong with counting calories, but the problem is people tend to count the wrong calories. So they make this process harder than it needs to be. So there's a much easier way of learning how to achieve transformation. So obviously counting calories works, right? Because if you know how many calories are going in and you reduced that amount, you would get a result. But it's actually complicated and most people won't stick to it. So I am living proof that you don't need to count calories. Physical proof, I've won a bodybuilding competition without counting any calories. So crazy, right? We can make it simple and get an outstanding result. So we come into this lesson with an open mind, and basically we want to think about this lesson when we go away and how we can apply it to our life. So remember in lesson 5, so lesson 5 was the one about your environment, yeah? So in lesson 5, I said most people want to skip that lesson because they don't want to do it. They don't want to purge and pillage their pantry. They don't want to do the hard things that are going to help them get a long-term result in their house, in their environment.
Yeah.
So lesson 7, this is the one people think they want to know about, the calories, right? But then you'll come away thinking, well, that wasn't what I was expecting. So we want to have a 360-degree view on health and fitness, and I'm going to change your perspective and give you a few pointers on being calorie aware and how to make it work for you. So yeah, you can count calories if you want, but I couldn't be bothered with that, and half the time you miss the calories that actually matter. So counting calories for 1 week is hard. Try doing that like for months or your whole life. Like, it's not going to be sustainable. Yeah. So the power of less, right? It's important for us to figure out what it is that you need to do to get to your goal, and we just do that. So when we talk about the power of less, we don't do all this extra fluff around what we're trying to do, just the parts that are going to get you to your goal. So for example, in week 2, when we learned about exercise prescription and how it's important not to overtrain, because that won't get us to our goal. So being a calorie aware, it's easier and more sustainable than counting calories, and you can stick to it week in and week out. So what being calorie aware is and why it's so powerful. So it systematically constructs the metabolism for permanent change. You get to eat a lot of delicious food, as you know. Remain in control of your nutritional intake without counting a single calorie. So how, right? We're calorie aware, and it is different to counting calories. So we will be understanding the amount of energy or calories that's in foods so we can make better choices. So if we're aware, we don't need to crunch the numbers. So yeah, how to construct meals to build a good metabolism, and how do you create a body with a fast metabolism? It comes back to what you're eating. But when people just focus on counting calories and reducing the amount, what they are not doing is they are not building an environment where the metabolism gets faster. They are just cutting their calories down. And that means also, like with the aging process, like as we age, naturally our calorie expenditure is also going down. So that means that you have to cut your calories even more to get a result if that's how you're doing it. So as we said, it's not sustainable. And as soon as you stop cutting the calories, you'll put the weight back on, right? Yeah, so that's why people fail. So if we focus on constructing a metabolism for permanent change, that actually means you're eating more and more food, the right foods, as your metabolism gets faster. your calories will go up and you're going to end up in a calorie deficit anyway. So being calorie aware is not to know that you're just eating a low amount of calories. That's not the goal. It's eating the right calories for permanent change. Let me just check that we're still recording. Yep. That's only 5 minutes. That's all right.
Cool.
Anyway, so the interesting thing about this is, a few weeks ago, this is sidetracking from our presentation for a minute, but you said to me something interesting. You said, I'm getting hungry. So how many weeks ago was that, do you think?
Would have been like 2 weeks in, I reckon.
So maybe week 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so do you remember what I said to you when you said to me, I'm getting hungry?
That my metabolism was working better.
Yeah. Yeah. So metabolism is starting to speed up. And then what was one of the most important things that I said, okay, if you're getting hungry, I told you what we need to do next. If you were getting hungry,
Add in another metabolic precise meal.
yeah. So the reason you were getting hungry, so in the first few weeks, all I asked you to do was to add protein with all your meals, make sure you add rainbows of vegetables to your plates, and try to do mindful eating and less snacking, the things that you use to snack on.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about what a few changes that you made? This was before you learned, if you remember, about metabolically precise meals and nutrient timing, and what type of things that you changed.
I just stopped the snacking, so I got rid of all the lollies and chips at work.
And so when were you having those things?
All day.
Yeah, just like sitting at work, like bunging down on. Yeah. Okay, but we took them away. Well, you took them away because I said you need to have some more mindful eating. And then what did you eat instead of that?
Like I've got my 2 meals now that I eat. So one would be like a zucchini slice.
Yeah.
So I'd have brekkie at home. And then I would, at work at like 11, I'd have, a zucchini slice and then the cottage pie in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm. So some meals that you'd prepared for yourself to have at work. So were you eating more prepared meals at work with a couple of weeks in after just being asked to try to mindfully eat and add more protein to all of your meals and more vegetables?
I think I started doing the yogurt first as an afternoon meal with protein powder.
This is it. So,
and that wasn't enough.
It sounds like you were snacking in the afternoon on all the lollies and chips and things that were in the workplace. And so you work in a desk job.
Yeah.
And there's probably like a room out the back with all the stuff, right?
Just me. Yeah.
Anyway, so what you chose to do was, replace that snacking with a healthier alternative.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you chose some yogurt and fruit or whatever.
Yogurt, fruit, protein powder with a teaspoon of muesli.
And a little bit of music. Beautiful.
Yeah,
so you've
but
just...
that wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So then I realised I needed another proper meal.
Because you'd taken out all these snacks that you were having, and then week 3 we learnt about how to construct a metabolically precise meal and when to time when we had certain nutrients with our when we're doing a workout and things like that. So we're moving on. Week 2, you're starting to get hungry. Week 3, we actually learn about meal construction and the food.
Yeah.
And I think it was in week 3 that you actually...
It might have been week 3, yeah.
Week 3 or 4, you started to piece in, okay, well, you actually did eliminate a lot of that crap that you were eating, but we can't just take it away. We had to insert metabolically precise or healthier meal alternatives, even if we're not being perfect with how we construct our meals. We just needed to have better meals than snacking on lollies and cheezels.
Yes.
That was one of your favourites, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, interesting. So you got hungrier.
And I think I'd started the working out as well.
And started your own workouts. Yeah. So,
So it was, obviously making me hungrier.
yeah. And what type of training did we? So week 2, we talked about exercise prescription and how much exercise you should do. But I think you already had started some training. I wrote a program for you to do at home.
Yeah.
Because you have your own gym set up at home.
And I've upped the weights twice.
Yes, and so we talked about learning how to use progressive overload in your training, as well as how many sessions you could consistently do in a week. So there's no point in going, I'm going to train 5 days a week when you can't uphold that. So I think I said maybe start with 2 or 3
sessions.
And
I'm still
for
doing
you.
3.
Great. So you're doing 3 strength training sessions a week at home on your own.
It only takes about 20 minutes.
With a program that I've written for you.
Yes.
Yeah. And what type of exercises are you doing in that program?
I don't know what they're called.
Some of these?
Yeah.
So I think we just did some basic...
The squats, then that one.
Chest fly.
That one.
Yeah.
Then the barbell.
Yes, so we've got shoulder press.
Yeah.
So we've got shoulders, we've got chest.
And then the one that you can pull up.
And we've got a back exercise, which is a row. And then we had the squats, which is obviously legs.
Yeah, and then just holding the 2 barbells and go up.
Another shoulder press.
Yeah.
I think the one lying down, that's the chest press as opposed. So we've got a shoulder press, a chest press, a fly, which is like this way. You've got the back row, and then you've got a leg exercise, which is your squats, and that's it. So
and then I did the tummy.
Yes. So some Russian twists.
Yeah.
So we had 5 exercises and a core, just a core finisher.
Yeah.
So 6 exercises.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. So back to calorie aware. So, where was I up to? I'll just go back a tiny bit. Oh no, we're here? Yeah. So, the right calories for permanent change. That's where we finished before. We digressed onto some of the things you were doing.
Yes.
So it's a fine balance. You can eat lots of delicious food. Like all the recipes in the recipe packs are low calorie. You don't need to worry about being over your calories if you're eating colourful, crunchy vegetables, a variety of foods. They have all the vitamins and minerals you need. They're nutrient-dense foods. That's so important as well because you need to have a sense of enjoyment with the food that you're eating as well. So if you get a good result, it comes back to making sure that you're actually eating the right foods, but also foods you want to eat. Because we know if you get put on a diet,
you don't like it all,
and you don't like the food, you're not going to stick to it. So, you have to eat lower calorie food. It has to be foods to help build a metabolism for permanent change, not break your body down. So when you're calorie aware, you will remain in control of your total nutrient intake without counting a single calorie. Sounds too good to be true, but I will tell you how. And being calorie aware, what it means is having a general idea of how many calories are in the foods. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with educating yourself in how many calories are in foods. For example, like how many calories are in, like a tablespoon of cheese or a quarter of a cup of nuts or an avocado. Like some of these foods are
good for you, but high in calories.
That's right. So they're not necessarily unhealthy, but they can be quite high in calories. So you don't get much bang for your buck with them. So you could accidentally I could say, you say, I'll put cheese on my cottage pie. Well, did you put a tablespoon of cheese or did you put 4 tablespoons? Because maybe that's the difference between 100 calories and 400 calories. Are you calorie aware? See? Yeah. So being calorie aware means we have that general idea. But if you find stuff like that complicated, you can, like everyone's got their phone these days, you can plug that into like MyFitnessPal or even just Google.
Yeah.
And it right in there, how many calories are in 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise? And you can see, and it might actually shock you with some of these additional things that we add into our meals.
Yeah.
So being calorie aware is knowing you are getting all of the right nutrients in your body without all the fluff. So understanding the amount of energy in foods, making better choices. When you are aware, you won't need to crunch the numbers. And when you're calorie aware, you will realize that you don't actually need to count because naturally your calories will be very low. And I'm going to show you some visuals soon, a lot of visuals, to really imprint this in your mind. So pay attention to this part because this is the exciting part. So this slide here is 300 calories.
Yeah.
1 cheeseburger. I'm sure you like a cheeky cheeseburger every now and then.
I used to live on them in London.
Yeah. Now look at this plate of vegetables. That's just vegetables.
Yeah.
Just for the visual. This is a massive plate, right?
Yeah.
So this is a good choice. This is a crappy choice. Both of these plates contain 300 calories. Now the reason I have chosen this big pile of vegetables on the left, I've picked something that's high in volume and high in nutrients, low in calories. Vegetables pretty much have no calories. Like, that's a little bit of an over-exaggeration, but think of them as unlimited. You can eat as many vegetables as you want to eat.
Yeah.
There's no limit. That plate is 300 calories. Now visualize yourself eating that entire plate of vegetables.
I wouldn't fit that in.
Exactly. If you tried to eat that plate of vegetables, you would not be able to finish it. You would be full. So if a plate of food that is only 300 calories makes you so full that you could not eat all of it, why are so many people counting calories? Yeah? This is why. People are still trying to fit the cheeseburger in. The stuff on the right. Obviously that's, so 300 calories, 1 burger. But let's be realistic. If I'm going to that shop, we all know what it is, right? To buy food, I'm not just buying 1 cheeseburger because that will not make me full. I could eat 2 of those right now and I'd still be hungry. You know you're going to get chips as well, right?
You're hungry half an hour later.
Yeah. So look at these 2 meals here. Same calorie content, but your fullness and satiety are worlds apart. So the thing is, if you're still eating meals from the right, like the processed food, the burger, what will happen is you can't fit all your nutrient-dense food in on the left. So when you look at the meal on the left, and this is obviously like whatever vegetables you like, you swap it for, like, if you don't like broccoli, you put cauliflower in there. It's just designed to show you the amount of vegetables you can eat for 300 calories, as opposed to 1 highly processed cheeseburger that gives you no fullness, no satiety. It gives you more cravings. You eat that and you want more. Yeah? So, here's another example.
Another cheeseburger.
Yeah, look, I haven't added protein yet. That's another salad, right? We need to add the protein and the right fats to construct the right metabolism for success to our meals. But this is, again, just to show you the volume of vegetables that equals 300 calories. Now, you'd look at that bowl or plate and think, I could feed my whole family with that. Look at the size of it. You literally cannot overeat vegetables.
Yeah.
Then look at the size of the burger. So when you are calorie aware, you are going to eat foods that make you feel full, feeling of satiety, foods that are nutrient dense, because the nutrients will help you build muscle and burn fat. So here's another one. I love this one. 300 calories of of just beans. Like, no one's going to eat 300 calories of beans in one meal.
That would be weird.
Like, it's weird and too filling. Like, you couldn't do it. So look at these slides. 300 calories, 300 calories, 300 calories. That's 900 calories in one sitting, right? I mean, sorry, in one sitting, in 3 meals. No, but that's what I'm going to say next. If you ate those 3 meals in one day, right, your total calorie intake would be 900 calories. That's a lot of food right there.
Of food, yeah.
Right? But if you ate from the right, you ate 3 cheeseburgers in one sitting, not in the day, in one sitting, because that's pretty easy to do, right? 900 calories in one sitting. Yeah. So this is where the balance starts to go wrong, and why data collection and being self-aware is so important. Most of us are eating from the right side more than we want to admit to ourselves. That's why we struggle to get all the healthy food in. If you eat food from the right, it gives you an insulin spike. So processed food gives you an insulin spike. Then you have a drop. So now you're going up, you're going down. It's not stable, and it destroys your appetite as well. So when you do start trying to eat the good food from the left, you know, the veggies, the protein, what will happen is you'll go through a period when you start to cut out the processed food where you get really hungry. We just spoke about that before, didn't we?
Yes.
Funny that. So, making sense, right? That's a good thing. If you tell me you're getting hungry, that means things are starting to shift, and you will be able to fit in more of the food from the left. So what actually happens is, when you go about this the right way, and you have the right mindset, and you start being calorie aware and implementing this, you will actually start to eat more food. Yeah. Because you have swapped the processed food, and you've swapped that with lean proteins and vegetables. So where you're eating more volume of food, but the calories have gone down significantly. So that's when we start to drop body fat. So the key, or the most important part that you can't skip over, is you must eat from the right less often, the processed food, right? Less often. So this is why we need to sometimes, we track how often we're doing that stuff on the right, because the idea is to eat more of the food on the left, less of the food on the right, and we start swapping good choices in. And then the weight starts to shift. Comes back to what is happening on the right and how often. So if you're not losing body fat, there's still too much of the stuff on the right and not enough of the stuff on the left. So I'll keep going through some examples in a minute, but this is probably a good point, because you had a really great 6-week result, like incredible. So your, let me know if I got this right, because it'll be in your book, but you lost centimetres. 17 centimetres off your body, which is incredible for 6 weeks work.
Yeah.
And how much?
1.3.
1.3 kilos on the scale. Amazing.
Which I'll put at half back.
We'll talk about that in a minute, right? But for 6 weeks, so you started making these adjustments, eating less of the food on the right, starting to eat more vegetables and proteins and constructing your meals correctly. And you really took on the small meals often.
Yeah.
So, so you don't have a lot of weight on the scale, I guess you would say, to lose. Yeah. So what your goal, your weight loss goal, I think you said, was 3 to 4 kilos?
3 kilos.
3 kilos for that's your goal for 12 weeks, one of your goals at the start. Yeah. So in 6 weeks, you were down 1.3 kilos. But then when we looked at your centimetres went down massively. And this is why I say to so many women, don't let the number on the scale dictate how you feel for the day or the week. I even suggest not to weigh yourself all the time, because the scale weight will fluctuate up and down naturally. It's the centimetres and the photos that show us, especially the photos that will show us the difference long term. And so that's why it's important we took photos before we started, and then we took our 6-week photos, and your body composition changed a lot. Yeah. Like, I almost fell off my chair when I saw Kristi's results.
You're like, oh, she has been working.
And we can put that down to, you started learning the information, and you listened, and you started implementing changes straight away.
Yeah.
You did. You started strength training 2 to 3 times a week. Strength training FIRE, which is focused intense resistance exercise, and I educated you on how to do progressive overload in your strength training. Is the only way, non-surgical way, to change your body shape.
Body shape, yeah.
Right. Now, interestingly, so you started that, adjusting your food, but not perfect. Like you still had things off your plan in that 6 weeks, I guess you would call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what types of things would you might have snacked on, or, you know, I assume like you might have still gone out for dinner, or
yeah, that, or chips,
like like packet chips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Things like that.
That's my hard one to get rid of.
Yeah.
But I don't do it during the day. It's kind of the night thing. But it definitely wasn't every night, and I swapped for the yogurt rather than having any chips.
So yeah, trying to take away that high calorie, low nutrient packet of chips, and you just told me you swapped in like a fruit and yogurt kind of meal, which is going to make you feel full
and flat.
It has nutrients, minerals. That's a meal that's going to help you build muscle and burn fat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
definitely not perfect, but progression.
That's right, because we don't have to be perfect. You already made more changes than I expected you to in the first 6 weeks. So you really took on board what I was teaching you.
Yes.
In the lessons each week, and started applying the information, because it's one thing to know the information. You know, everyone's got access to the internet. Like, you can find out a lot of information, but it's whether can you apply that information to your life. And part of my education is also next week we're going to talk about habits and the habit loop, and why your habits will always beat your good intentions and what you're trying to do. So that's a good lesson next week. But let's keep going through the slides. So here we go. 300 calories. Chicken and salad. I feel like I've missed a page. Oh yeah. I missed this whole section. I feel like I did that section for the one before, but it doesn't matter. It still makes sense.
Same.
Anyway, here I've added protein to our meal here. So there's chicken and chickpea salad, lots of vegetables and stuff, and a secret dressing, which I gave you girls the recipe for that in the group.
That might have been in Bali, so I think I missed
it.
that one. There was so many. When I got home, I was trying to catch up on that.
No, I'll have to put it in the actual group, the
Facebook group.
The group one, not the chat
Page.
Anyway, so 300 calorie meal here. So if you're eating that meal, think about it like those veggies and stuff. It's like a workout for your mouth, like you're doing jaw reps, right? That is only 300 calories. It would make me feel full. I don't think I'd be able to eat the entire plate in one sitting. That's only 300 calories. Yeah. Did I say that before? 300 calories. Imagine you ate 3 of those meals in one day. That's 900 calories. 3 cheeseburgers in one sitting, 900 calories. I said that before because I skipped ahead accidentally. So anyway, I've read this bit to you before about the insulin spike and everything. So I'll just skip ahead now. So here's another one. Tuna salad. I know you don't like tuna, but pretend it's like some sort of protein that you like to eat.
Yeah.
That's massive, right? Yeah. Am I getting through to you about calorie awareness, right? So the volume of food, if you only ate 3 meals a day and you decided, I'm really going to challenge myself to stop eating from the right side, the processed food, the burgers, chips, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to have, here's another one, steak, right? Steak and veggies, the cheeseburger. I'm going to have 1 steak meal. I'm going to have 1 tuna meal. I'm going to have 1 chicken meal. 3 meals, massive meals, 900 calories in those 3 meals. Most people could not eat those 3 meals in a day, right? Crazy. So what I want you to take away from this is when people say they cut their calories, right down and they only eat, say, 900 calories in a day.
Which is crazy.
Well, I would question what type of calories is that person eating. So, like, we've got our charts and we know how to construct metabolically precise meals that are high in nutrients and low in calories. And if we do that, we will not fail. These 3 meals are just an example. So you get a lot of bang for your buck in these meals. Choose foods that are extremely high in nutrients and low in calories. It's right there in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm taking the guesswork out. Obviously, I've provided some recipes in my recipe packs. But you're also learning how to create your own recipes, and you're also learning how to look at a recipe and work it out for yourself.
Yeah.
So you can figure it out. You can go to a restaurant and look at a meal and figure it out. You know, it's the education, and that is what, you know, long term you need to know.
Yes.
What you're putting in your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being calorie aware. So what I want you to do when you look at these slides, if you're still eating a lot of food from the right, ultra-processed foods, so it might not be a burger, it might be cheese and crackers and salami, it might be chocolate, it might be chips, it might be pizza, whatever, you know, lots of breads, whatever your guilty pleasure is, ultra-processed foods, what the problem is it gives you an insulin spike, then you drop, then it triggers cravings, right? It actually destroys your appetite, so you can't eat as much of the good nutrient-dense food. So once you start to take out the calorie-laden food, as we spoke about, your appetite will increase, and you need to insert more of the good nutrient-dense, low-calorie foods. So yes, again, if you're telling me you're starting to get hungry, I think awesome. It indicates to me you're making the right changes. And when you start to lift heavier in the gym, that increases your appetite as well. More good food in, better recovery.
Yeah.
Key. So look at this one, 500 calories. That's a Big Mac. I mean, a large burger.
Quarter pounder.
No, I don't know. So, different Big Mac here. 500 calories. Anyway, when you go to Macca's, that shop, you're not just getting burger, you're getting chips. You might get sauce.
And a drink.
It's got a lot of sugar in it. You might get some nuggets as well. Mm-hmm. And you get a Coke. But, oh no, you get a Coke, no sugar, right? Because it makes you feel less guilty about eating the food.
But it's probably the syrup.
We've all done it. Nah, it doesn't matter. My point being, you order like this massive meal of crap, and then, oh, I'll just have a Coke. No sugar, thanks. Like, come on, you know.
You're saving yourself a couple of 100 calories.
Yeah, we've all done it, but like, yeah. Look at that mountain of food. Yeah. 500 calories. Massive pile of veggies and tuna. It doesn't look very appetizing, let's be honest. But it's these slides. I've just picked visuals to get you to visualize the healthy meals that you love eating. Insert them here.
Yeah.
So just to say you went to Macca's and you ate a Big Mac. It's gone in 3 or 4 bites, right? You literally just ate 500 calories without even touching the sides. It's easy. So true. It's easy to eat. It's tasty. It's over in a couple of minutes. And then you said this before, 30 minutes later, I'm hungry again. So just say, imagine you had to sit down and I told you can't leave until you've eaten that entire meal on the left there. You would be whinging and complaining to me. That is a massive, enormous meal. This is a visual for you why you don't need to count calories. If you're constructing your meals from the food on the left, the recipe packs, using our charts that we have, and you stick to it day in and day out, without counting calories, you would have dropped your calorie intake because you're taking away the ultra-processed foods. So we just need to pick our first-class proteins. We learnt about what that is, our lean proteins from the charts. Stacks of veggies, especially, I can never say this word properly. You know what word I'm saying? No. Crucifix? Crucifix?
No, no.
I'm like, I'll just have to spell it on the screen because I don't know how to say it. Anyway, you can eat as much of that stuff as you want, feel full and satisfied every day. As your appetite increases, your metabolism is getting faster. You will need to eat more of the good foods, which that's what we spoke about when You said that to me. We're then increasing your calories, not decreasing them. But they're the right type of calories.
Right type of food, yeah.
So if you're getting hungry, and that's a good sign, that's what we want. And that's what we did for you. So you told me, week 3 or 4, I'm getting hungry. And then we had a look at what you were doing. And then, what did we say before?
I think I've always been hungry. I think I've just gone for the snacky food.
Yeah, so I said that means you need to insert another meal now because you're snacking less, or you need to increase the size of your portions. Yeah. So we just had to work out what was going to work for you. So 700 calories. The burger and chips, look at the left. That's 700 calories of food.
Wow.
You could cut all those plates of food in half and have 6 meals in a day.
Yeah, just for that.
That would probably still be too much food for one person. It's only 700 calories. So every time you do food prep, you're creating your meals. Even if you're out at a restaurant, you can think to yourself, am I constructing a metabolism for success every time? If there is a first-class protein, yes. Low energy carbs, all our veggies. Is there good fat? Yes. So my point is, this is what calorie aware means. Obviously, the food on the right is high calorie food. The food on the left is low calorie. So look at the amount of food you get for the low calorie side and the amount of nutrients. There is no nutrients in that processed food on the left there. I mean, on the right there. Now I'm confusing myself. So I'm not saying you can never eat the food from the right again. But what I'm saying is if you're eating from the left-hand side 95% of the time, then if you eat from the right side once every now and then, your calories will already be low. You'll get away with it. But if it's happening more often than you're willing to admit, that's where you'll be derailing yourself.
Yep.
So that's just a bird's eye view of that 700 calories.
Yep.
Like take a screenshot of that in your brain. If your food looks like this, you don't need to count calories. 900 calories. Just for fun. Look at all that food.
Wow.
So next time you're eating from the right, the burger, like everyone's going to do it. It might not be a burger and chips. It might be ice cream. It might be cheese and crackers. Whatever your guilty pleasure is. Replace it with the burger. Put it there. Ultra processed food. It tastes good. It does not make you feel full. It triggers cravings. So there will be something that you love to do. And the first thing you need to do is track it so we know how often you're doing it. And then we need to reduce the amount of times you're doing it.
Yeah.
Which is what we've been doing, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We just want to not be doing it as often. So the key is replacing the processed food with a better choice, not just taking it away. So we said we take that high calorie, low nutrient food, we swap it for a meal that's low, high in nutrients, low in calories. The food volume goes up, you will lose body fat, and you have... How much food are you eating?
More.
Yeah.
More than I was.
Yeah. And it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So to lose more fat, you start eating more food.
Yeah.
The right food.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's a bird's eye view, 900 calories. Figure out which veggies and proteins work for you. And I think you figured this out really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can cook them differently, however you like, the textures, the way you like to eat it. This is an enormous example of why we don't need to count calories. And if you're eating from the left side, you can see why we don't.
Yep.
And on the right, that will not construct a metabolism for success. This will help you build muscle and burn fat. You will feel full, have satiety. That processed food on the right will give you a quick hit and then you'll be hungry 30 minutes later. Yeah, you were just saying, so you figured out quickly, you already had a little bit of food prep routine before we started that you'd been doing
but then
yourself.
I went off the rails a bit and I was just eating the chicken in a wrap. Remember that?
Yeah, and obviously you hadn't learnt about how to construct a metabolically precise meal and timing, nutrient timing, and things like that. And once you, even before you learnt that information, you still just started trying to have healthier meals and take away some of the snacking.
Yeah.
And then when you learnt that information, you adjusted the meals that you were already eating.
Yeah.
So you liked the recipes that you were having, and you had a look and you were like, okay, well, I need to eat this one after I've done a workout.
Yeah.
I might need to take this out of this meal. And you picked it up really quickly and started figuring it out. And I think you just asked me sometimes a few questions, or is this sort of the right path that I'm doing in regards to those meals. So you sort of lucky in a way that you had a little system to start with, because it wasn't as a big adjustment to just add a bit more food prep to your routine
already.
Yeah.
And I made sure all my meals were done before Bali, so when I came back I didn't get back on the
Oh yes, we're going to talk about Bali in a minute. I'll just whip through, I reckon, the rest of this slide, and then I want to talk about Bali. So 1,500 calories. Look at it. Like, okay, that's 3 burgers and some chips, right?
That's what Andreas would have at Macca's.
I could eat that I could eat that in one sitting. Like, I could eat that right now. Like, I could eat that much food. The other side, like, that's probably a week's worth of vegetables for someone.
Yeah.
Like, we need to figure it out and replace these less than ideal choices with nutrient-dense food. It's trial and error, because you have to try some new recipes and you have to get your staple recipes that you want to use on rotation. And we needed to find what works for you. Every person is different. You have different tastes to me. You have a different job to me. You have a different lifestyle. Might have a different home life. Your environment is going to be different to the person sitting next to you. And that's why meal plans don't work. So yes, if I handed you a meal plan on week 1 and I said, Kristi, you follow this meal plan, you'll lose weight, you would lose weight.
But I wouldn't do it.
Well, you might, but how long would you do it for?
Yeah.
And then when you get sick of that food, what are you going to do? It's not sustainable long term, right? Yeah. So, and then when you stop doing the meal plan, you put all the weight back on. Does that probably sound accurate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would have. Yeah.
So, you're learning to build your own meal plan. That's part of the education that you're getting, right? So, most Australians spend less than 30 minutes a week in the kitchen. Like, they order Uber Eats, they go out for takeaway. It's a massive health problem that people don't want to or don't know how to food prep. It's a cultural problem, actually. Like, you must do it. The food that goes in your mouth, you should be cooking it. You should know what is in that and what you're putting in your body. It all comes down to habits. So we have really poor habits in Australia when it comes to our environment, like setting up our environment. And that will lead us to, I was saying, next week's lesson is the habit loop. And it's another amazing lesson where you're going to learn a whole lot about habits, the habit loop, and how to reprogram your brain in regards to habits. So super exciting.
Yay!
So anyway, just another example here. And another 1,500 calories. It's insane.
Yeah.
Right?
That is insane.
So the take-home message is, right, if we're eating from the left side, from the charts, the recipes we have given you, rest assured it's very difficult to overeat. When you focus on constructing a metabolism and constructing metabolically precise meals, it's almost impossible to overeat. So remember, first class protein, it has all the essential amino acids in it, and it has less than 10 grams of fat per 100 grams. That's what a first class protein is. We have that in every meal. So it's really lean, yeah? If you're choosing first class protein in every meal, and then next, our low energy carbohydrates. So that's all our
vegetables.
Exactly. Vegetables and our fruits, and a source of good fat. So we want our omega-3 fat in that meal as well. These foods are very low in calories and high in nutrients, and it is extremely difficult to overeat. So if anything, you might undereat, actually. So this is why we don't have to count calories. You can eat lots of delicious food. You can try recipes from the packs. try some new ones too. And once you find the ones you love, then you make those recipes again and again. You double the recipe, you triple it, you quadruple it. You get faster at food prep, you get more efficient. It becomes like clockwork. So I know you're probably a little bit similar to me in some ways. Like I like to eat food prep some of the same meals and have them over and over. I know what they're doing to my body.
Yeah.
I know I like them. I know they sit well in my tummy. They're easy to cook. I'm easy to track what I'm doing.
Yeah.
If I get sick of something, then I can just rotate a new recipe in. Like it's that easy. It's making sure they're high in nutrients and low in calories, and that's why we don't need to count. So like, you've tried a few, I think. How many new recipes have you tried from the recipe packs?
None, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I think you did,
Oh, I did the stew.
yeah, and the trifle. Did you do the
I did try the trifle,
You just
yeah.
changed
I
the,
didn't like that.
yeah, you just
Yeah.
changed the texture.
Yeah, I just put it in the freezer and then I use it for smoothies.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
didn't you make something else that you didn't like and then you made it into a smoothie bowl?
Yeah, that was the trifle.
Oh, yeah. Was it all that crumble?
No, no, it was the crumble.
Yeah,
the trifle.
You've made the raspberry yogurty.
Yeah, but
thing.
I don't have the fruit on the side. I just blitz it in the
Yeah,
yogurt.
but same but different.
Yeah, sorry,
it's just,
the trifle
so you've just changed the texture.
yeah.
Yeah, same ingredients.
Yeah.
So you found the way you
That
like
looked funny in my fridge when I
to
got
eat
home.
it. Oh yeah, just throw that out and make a new one. So you made another recipe that was like a fruit crumbly type thing.
Yes,
and
but
you,
I didn't
and
like
you didn't
that.
like it. But that's the trial and error. So
Yeah.
we need to try.
But it's still
new
in the
things.
freezer, and then when I have a smoothie, I put it in the Thermomix and put yogurt in it.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
your liquid meals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So it hasn't been a waste.
No.
But
I don't like wasting food.
Did you try the cookies? And then someone
tried the
Did you
cookies.
burn them? No,
No,
someone burnt them.
But I didn't find myself eating them, so I just chucked
No.
them.
Yeah, because you think sometimes they're like would be a sometimes or a bonus food that we would have.
Like they were beautiful out of the oven.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
Because you actually find because you started eating more nutritious meals often, you don't feel like snacking as much.
No.
You don't need
No, I didn't
the
need
cookies or the chocolate or the chips as much because you've actually set your...
feel fuller.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have those cravings anymore.
Yeah.
Because we're eating often. Anyway, I think you've also... you tried a few recipes that you had and just adjusted them slightly to make them metabolically precise.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic.
Yes.
So next week, this is to think about for next week.
Yeah.
What is your single worst habit that you're doing right now that is consistently, that is preventing you from getting you where to
Your
start that
success.
again. Preventing you from getting to where you want to be, because
Yeah.
next week we're going to talk about the habit loop, and I want you to think about one thing. When it comes to habits, people don't realize that most of our day is controlled by habits. So once you understand how your brain creates a habit, you can actually reprogram your brain. So being aware how it creates it, and we're going to learn more about that next week with the habit loop.
Okay.
So that's super exciting.
Very exciting.
But yes, calorie aware, does that like give you like this like, whoa,
Yeah,
like how
yeah.
much food I
Yeah.
can eat?
I always wondered how many calories Macca's. Never wanted to look it up.
Yeah, but it's not just like we've used Macca's burger as an example here, but it's any processed foods.
Yeah.
So we were talking in our nutrition group the other day on the chat about being calorie aware, because we've just done this lesson, and the girls, you've just been in Bali, so you're just 1 week behind. And some examples of sort of even everyday healthy things that are quite high in calories. So if you're
Probably
aware
like
of
my protein bars that you told me were like eating a
yeah,
chocolate
well,
bar.
it's like eating a chocolate bar, really. But, you know, if you're tracking how often you're doing it and you're still getting a result, then we know, okay, if you stop getting a result and we're looking at what you're doing, we need to see where the calorie
Yeah.
bombs are.
I got so hangry in Bali.
Oh, yeah, so
Oh my
let's
God.
talk about Bali. So Kristi just went to Bali for a holiday for how long?
5 nights.
5
With
nights.
that extra night at the airport hotel.
Plus the flight and everything.
Yeah.
So you're probably away about a week by
Yeah.
the time you do all of that. And you said something really interesting when you got back in our nutrition group chat. And do you want to tell me again what you were saying?
After eating, I don't think I ate terrible, but I certainly ate some hot chips and noodles and whatever. And I did walk into the gym, but it was really awkward. There was 2 guys in there. And I was like, I don't know
And you're like on holiday, so you know some people don't want to go.
I had planned to because
I
I wake up a lot earlier than everyone else.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I got up and I said to Mum, I'm going to the gym. It's like 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I went and I was like, oh, this is awkward. I didn't recognise any machines. Like it was just and then
They
I was
didn't.
like, no
They
one said hello to
didn't
me.
have the free weights like you.
Well, they did, but there was nowhere to lay on.
Oh, yeah, that's odd.
It was. And then I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna forget it this trip.
Yeah,
Because I was literally awake 2 hours before everyone else
give
every
you something
morning.
to do.
Yeah, but it just felt awkward, and they didn't even say hello to me, and it was weird.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all right.
Yeah. But then I didn't feel great when I came home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was good to get back into eating healthier
So
meals.
I think that the way that you said it in the group chat, you said something like, I felt how I used to feel before I started learning
the
program with Rach.
Yeah.
Is that what?
Pretty much, yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah. And isn't that interesting? Because it took you, so you've been, you'd done 6 weeks, have fantastic result, 6 weeks result. And then you went away on a holiday, which is great. That's life, right? We're trying to change our lifestyle. We're not, this isn't a quick fix or a diet. And I told all of you girls when we started, it's going to take you longer to get the results that you want than you think, because I am going to give you an education and we're going to sit in a classroom. We're going to learn classroom style lessons each week, and it's all slowly going to come together. It's a lot of information. And then, so you've applied information, you've changed things, you've been working out, you've had fantastic result, and then you went on holidays.
And it was really hard to try and, I wanted to be mindful. Like brekkie, I just had my omelette, so very similar to what I had here, but they all had cheese in them. It was all cooked in a lot of oil.
Yeah. So imagine if you'd gone on holidays and went, stuff it, I'm just going to have a free-for-all and go for it 100, just...
Which I certainly didn't do 100%.
That's what I'm saying. So
I got hungry very often.
Because your metabolism is still working on from what you've been doing for the last 6 weeks, not the week that you had in Bali. So now, how many days have you been back from Bali now?
I got back on Tuesday night.
And what are we? Saturday.
Like,
so, you've been back a few days. Now, before you went to Bali, you prepped... You told me you prepped
Yes, I prepped all my lunches for the week.
Ready for work. Because did you go straight back to work?
Straight back to work on Wednesday.
Yeah. So you're back at work, eating your prepped meals. But this week, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling much better now that I've started eating healthier again. Yeah. But it's taking its time again.
So a bit lethargic maybe?
I'm super tired. Yeah.
Yeah.
And hungry. I feel hungry all the time.
Yeah.
I'm hungry now.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. Because also your body, so you've just had all this stuff in Bali, and then you've come back, so you've done the right thing. Like, you're like, yeah, I'm just going to get straight back onto what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And the quicker people can do that after they've had a holiday or something, the better. Because then the sooner you do it, the sooner you'll feel better, right?
And then Wednesday and this morning I did the workout as well.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. So the most interesting thing I found that you said was I started to feel how I felt before I started implementing changes into my lifestyle and my nutrition and my training. And you don't realise perhaps now you even see how shitty you felt before.
Yeah, you can see the difference.
You can see the difference. So if we rewind back to why you decided to join my nutrition program.
Was that reason?
What so
feeling shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kristi's an interesting case because Kristi actually had the
Gastric sleeve.
gastric sleeve surgery. How long ago was that now?
Maybe 2.5 years.
2.5 years ago. And I'm assuming, like, obviously you did lose weight
30 kilos.
with having the surgery. But what did that not teach you? So why do you need a nutrition coach?
Because I was, well, obviously, like at the start, you can't eat a lot. But I was choosing better options. Like, I didn't eat anything junk food for like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
But then
Post-surgery.
Yeah, but then you start to creep back into old habits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you start the snacking again. And then now I can fit in 10 times more than I could back then.
Mm-hmm.
I can almost be a
So what
normal meal
happened? Did
now.
you start putting weight back on?
I started putting weight back on. Yeah.
And
then I was like, I did 2 years so well, and I don't want to fall back into those habits pre-surgery as well.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah.
interesting, right?
Mm.
And yes, you were putting weight back on, so that is one factor. But more,
But also not feeling good.
Yeah, I was really interested in the fact that you said, I feel like shit, basically. Like, I'm always tired, I have no energy, I can't remember.
Always
you tell
hungry.
me, it's you.
Still always hungry.
And like, no one addressed the psychology behind how you got yourself into that situation
like
in the first place.
You had a psychologist appointment, two of them, but that was it. Then you're on your own.
Yeah. So the habits and the things that caused you to be in that position overweight.
Started creeping back.
Yeah, but I think what I'm trying to say is, like, there was no education as into why you had gotten there.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, like you do speak to a dietitian, but it's nothing like this. Like, yeah, it's very different.
Yeah, and so I'm teaching this nutrition program, Metabolic Precision. Like, you can take it as far as you want in regards to body transformation. It's like, I won a bodybuilding competition, not counting calories, following this nutrition.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to take something that far, right? But before I was an athlete, I was overweight as well, and have lost nearly 60 kilos on this program and kept it off. Yeah. But my point being, before you said you lost 50 kilos.
30.
Sorry, I lost 50 kilos. You lost 30 kilos with the surgery.
Yeah.
But what that's done, the surgery, yes, it helped you lose weight, but it didn't make you feel good and it didn't make you function well.
Correct.
So for anything to be sustainable long term, it has to address how you look, how you function, and how you feel. Mm-hmm. And so that was addressing how you look, if we're 100% honest.
Correct.
Yeah. So you wanted to get back to not being overweight and just the size and the person that you were before. It made you feel crap and you weren't functioning well. What was happening to your body after you lost the weight? Do you remember? You came and trained with me. You came and did fire with me in my garage for a period of time. And why did you come to train? This is before we... this was this like might have been a year ago for argument's sake. So do you remember why you came in the first place?
Just because I wasn't moving my body, so my back was hurting. Because when you're sitting at a desk all day, like, you get bad posture. And I knew that when I went to the gym the last time before you, it helped with that side of things, not getting
Strengthening your body.
Yeah, not getting as many headaches and stuff.
Yeah, and it was really interesting because you said you train and then, I don't know, something come up and you couldn't train for a bit and then you came back again.
My ankle.
And yes, that's right. I didn't remember something
ankle,
happened.
bunion, broken leg.
Yeah. So you couldn't, you had to have some time off. And then you came back because you were like, my back, everything is just sore. So you lost the weight, but you lost the weight because they restricted what you could eat. Yep. But you weren't doing any type of strength training to lose the weight.
No.
And so you so the reason we strength train is to at least maintain.
He's already.
1 second.
What is that?
TV turned on.
It's like it's TV time now.
It unpaused.
We strength train to at least preserve the lean muscle mass that we have.
Yeah.
But also hopefully increase our muscle mass, because it is our muscle mass.
Because I went to a dietitian and she said my muscle mass was very low.
Yeah. So you've lost all this weight, but you've also lost a ton of muscle as well with the process of having the surgery.
Yeah.
So, it's really interesting because obviously, everyone can differ in how and the way that they do things. But in the end, you have to learn about the nutrition. You have to strength train. So you have to do all the things.
Yes.
Now to build or maintain muscle, to look, function, and feel good. So all the things that you need to do to lose the weight, you have to still do now.
Yes.
So if you had been doing that before you had the surgery,
I would have got there.
You would have got there in the end anyway, but you didn't know about all this stuff before you had the surgery.
No. I watched your journey, but I didn't know. Yeah.
Well, it's not. It's just different. Everyone has a different mindset on what they set out and
you've got to be ready.
What they're trying to achieve. Yeah. And it's not, there's no right or wrong answer to whether you should or shouldn't do these types of things. But for me, I would love to get people before they choose to do the surgery, because I can educate them and teach them how to change their lifestyle, because you're going to have to do it in the end.
And anyway,
whether you have the surgery or not.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're going to feel shit and you're not going to function well.
And the surgery can cause big complications. Like, I was lucky, but there's some big ones out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that's the most interesting, you're a really great case study, because that's the most interesting part because when you inquired with me, I was like,
why does she need me?
Yeah, I actually was surprised, because I thought, I didn't know that
came up at the right time, because I was like,
you were interested in, and then it's just really fascinating. So it'll be interesting to see. Now you've bounced back from Bali, but that's life, right? There's always going to be holidays come up. You're going to get sick. There's going to be shit hits the fan. Things are going to happen, and it's then what have we learned and what have we implemented and what's our bottom line when all that stuff happens? Because when everything's going great, it's easy to do all the work. But everything in life, life always throws us curveballs, so it's not always going to be easy.
That's true.
But anyway.